Hi! Subscribe now and I can guarantee that stuff will happen to you. It's that time again when I show you all kinds of games I've been buying. This time I got 5 games for PlayStation 5. Anyway, you all know this shtick, so let's get on with the games. Oh, by the way, I think I might have found the Game of the Year possibly. It's gonna be pretty tough to beat Expedition 33, but don't know. Let's take a look at all the games I got. We'll start with one that I actually reviewed on this channel. Every year I try to buy at least one cat game and play it through, and nowadays I try to always review that, and I did. And this year's cat game was Copycat. Not necessarily the best game, but man, the subject area of this game really hits you in the feelings. Just check out my review if you want to know more about that. Oh, one thing I actually forgot to mention in my review, which I kind of wanted to, but well, shit. This game came with this postcard. There's the old lady with the cat. Looks really heartwarming, but when you know what's about to happen in the scene, it's really not. Damn that old lady. Burn in hell! Anyway, that's not what I wanted to show. It's what it says behind here. I forgot to advertise this. Why, this is actually a good buy. Hi friend, thank you for buying a physical edition of our narrative-driven indie cat venture game, Copycat. As a core team of 3 creatives, we are extremely humbled by all your support. We have so many people to thank, but first and foremost, it's you, our players. Copycat explores themes of home, family, and pet abandonment. For each physical edition disc sold, Spoonful of Wonder will donate $1 to a local cat shelter on your behalf. Which is great, because whenever I donate something to charity, it's like 99% of the time, it's always the cat shelter we have here. Might have been some other cat shelters too, but yeah, I like to give money to cats. I've actually given some money to dogs too, but don't tell my cats, because, you know, it's a bit of a touchy subject. Not a fan. But yes, that is one of those reasons why I don't actually regret buying this, even though this was, I do believe this was 30 euros or something, and it wasn't much of a game, but it was, I do feel like it was a fantastic experience, and hey, I gave something to charity. Cats, cat shelters, that's great. I love cats. If people were more like cats, I like more people. Anyway, Copycat, check out the review. We'll move on. Next game I bought, it's not a keyboard like I have here, and it's not a cyborg, it's Kiborg. Now what is Kiborg? Well, to be honest, this was kind of a blind buy. I was checking for some new games that might pique my interest, and you know, I wanted something a bit less known. I sometimes, actually quite often, I tend to go for the indie type or AA stuff, because I usually find the best game from there. It said that this is kind of old school beat 'em up game, which, kinda. It feels more hack and slashy. There's no like throws or, you know, moves like that. It's pretty much just punching and kicking and shit, you know, all over the place. It's missing all the holds and throws, which I think are some of the best features in old school beat 'em up games. So yeah, in that sense, not quite, but it does feel old school. You also get melee weapons in this, and you also have firearms in this. So, you know, there's a bit of shooting, bit of punching people with sticks and knives and swords and shit. And also there's just hand-to-hand combat. Now I did get excited because this trailer looked really old school. I'm really into old school type of beat 'em ups and you know, hack and slashes and all that. But it also said that this was roguelike, which is a type of games that I actually don't really like. I don't really see the point. I kind of hate roguelike games because you play over and over and over and over again the same crap, and well, you know, if you die, you start from the beginning, or some games do have some kind of checkpoint system where you can start like from later level or something like that. I played Road to Redemption, which is pretty much the only roguelike game I played before this, like more. That's a really fun game. If you love old school road rash games, it's kind of the same spirit as those, as you know, pick your driver and you have a little motorcycle and you can beat up your opponent and shoot it. But we're not here to talk about Road Redemption. I think it was Road Redemption. But Kiborg, in this one, you're a prisoner and you try to escape a prison. There's actually some kind of a reality TV show where you have to advance through all the levels of the prison and try to get to the roof. And there's a little ship transporter, and if you get there, you're free. Great. I played it through once. It was fun. It was fun. You know, you also get these upgrades. You can get, you know, different types of enhancements to your body, which help you and all that. It's just you go forward and you beat the shit out of guys. There's a lot of, you know, unique weapons, over 120 unique weapons, and over 130 unique modifications that grant powerful perks. So, yeah, there's a lot of variety when it comes to actually kicking enemies' ass, in that sense that you get all kinds of different weapons and perks, like it says here. You might be electrified, or maybe your weapons will do more damage. It was a fun game, like solid 7 out of 10. Maybe 7.5 out of 10. I did enjoy this, but after I was done, I beat this like once. There's actually like, I checked the trophies and there's beat level 7 or beat the game 7th time. It gets harder and harder. I don't see the reason for that. For me in games, I couldn't really tell you which I prefer more, story or gameplay. But story always kind of hits me, you know, that's kind of the thing that keeps me interested, the thing that motivates me to beat the game, because I always want to know the story. If it's good or bad, that's the thing that makes me do shit. If I just go around and kick ass like in this over and over again, without learning anything more about the lore and, you know, overall story, I don't really see the point. That's when I'm just going in circles like a hamster. Like, I didn't enjoy the gameplay that much. It was fun, but without any story-based motivation, I couldn't give two shits about it. I got this slipcover cardboard. This is kind of cool. I do dig this. Also inside here, it came with not that. This is a Kiborg comic book. That's cool, you know, if you want to read the comic book. I did quickly ran through a little bit of it, so yeah, it's not like the lore is that interesting that I'd really want to get into this franchise and all that too much, you know. But like I said, a solid 7, maybe 7.5. I can't really decide. Extra points though. One of the reasons why I actually pre-ordered this was because the main character, right there, he's bald and he has a mustache. When's the last time we got a bald guy with a mustache as the main character in games? That's you don't get any manlier than bald and mustache, except maybe long hair and mustache. It's just shitty and thin long hair, but you get the idea. Mustache is what makes a man. If you don't got mustache, you ain't no man. You're a little boy. I said it. Come at me, you mustacheless bitch. We're getting needlessly needlessly aggressive here. I'm not trying to provocate. I'm not sure how you spell that word, but anyway, that was Kiborg. Not keyboard, not cyborg, Kiborg. Still don't know what that means, and I played through the game. Next game I got, and if you know me, you know that this was a must-buy for me, because actually the first game that came out in this series, that actually made my Game of the Year list. I was just positively surprised how fantastic old school shooter that was. So obviously I had to buy this, and it is Robocop. Rogue City, Unfinished Business. Yeah, the first Robocop game that came out last year. Or was it the year before that? I don't remember. If it was last year, damn, they put out this fast. Whenever it was, it did make my Game of the Year list also. I fucking loved that. It felt like old school Wolfenstein and Doom and all that kind of shit. Except you were Robocop. And also you had these hubs where you could just, kind of city hubs where you could take side missions. There wasn't like many of those, but they were fun. Kind of reminded me a little bit of those old Deus Ex and Thief games in the sense that you just got to kind of wander around in this little city area and do, you know, little missions there. That was fantastic. I always love that in games when they give you that. But yeah, it was brutal too, and this one is as brutal too. I fucking love this. This was great. Well, not as much as the first one though that came out last year or the other year. I can't remember. And this one, it's got, well, first of all, shitloads of bugs. I'm not saying the original game was totally bugless experience either, but this one really tops it in that department. There's a lot of bugs. I don't mind as long as they don't break the game, except there was at least 1 or 2 times when I had to restart from the last checkpoint because I couldn't advance, or I went somewhere where I couldn't get back. I got myself basically stuck in something. So yeah, it's not the most polished game, but it is still kind of the same fun shooting like that, except this one doesn't really have, this isn't like sequel. This is more like a add-on or new campaign or something, except more straightforward. You just, in this one, you more go forward and shoot anything that moves, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, still the sound of the footsteps, some people take that sound off. Fuck's wrong with them? The footsteps are part of Robocop experience. You have to have the footsteps, the sounds. Fantastic old school shooter, but not as good as the one that we got before. But still, if you really like the last one, you're probably gonna like this one too. It's just more focused on the just shooting, a lot of shooting. And the shooting felt good. You could shoot people's dicks off. So yeah, you want old school shooter, buy the previous Robocop, and if you really like that and want more, this is like 10 hours more of shooting. Next game I bought, well, this is a great example of game that has pretty goddamn interesting story that keeps me hooked, but the gameplay is kind of but still, because I really want to see where the story goes, I keep pushing through. And actually, even though the gameplay wasn't like terrible. It was more just really clunky. Didn't really work that great. Also, this was kind of buggy too. But yeah, I'm talking about Mafia the Old Country. I had this pre-ordered. I was thinking about making a review of this, but for some weird reason I didn't do it. I did actually really enjoy this. This one takes place in the early 1900s. 1904, Sicily, birthplace of the Mafia, except it jumps few years. The story starts with you and your friend working at a mine, and you've had it because early 1900 miner worker people's the conditions were fucking awful, so I don't really blame you for rebelling and escaping. Anyway, the people who run the mine, they come after you, but you end up in a old house, and turns out it's the Mafia's territory, or not exactly. Well, I think it was kind of early Mafia back then, but yeah, a crime family, whatever. So they help you out and they hire you, you do some housework, all that kind of crap all over the villa. The map looks pretty nice. I do dig it, because it takes place in Sicily, in Italy, so it's something different that you haven't seen that much in games, if I remember correctly, or at least I don't really remember too many games that are open world in Italy or Sicily. Well, there's Assassin's Creed 2 and those sequels to 2, but apart from those, I don't really remember there being a lot. Also, it's really interesting to see the origin story of Mafia, or the organized crime syndicates. So yeah, it's different than the previous Mafia games, which took place in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I think third one was 60s, or was it early 70s? I can't remember. Third one is the only one that I haven't played through, because I love the characters, I love the world, I love the music in the world, and the story was kind of cool too, but they just stuck too much, pointless extra stuff you had to do to advance in the story, and yeah, it wasn't good. It was also buggy, and they should have made that more straightforward, like Mafia 1 and 2, and this one, it really doesn't. You can collect shit if you want, like paper clips, and I think there was something else. I didn't really focus on collecting stuff. This is a game I played purely for the story. I wanted to experience the story, and it was good. I really enjoyed it. Well, I'm not spoiling really too much, but the Mafia boss, or the head of the family, has a daughter, and you being a boy and the daughter being a girl, and both having working pissing equipments, they kind of fancy each other. And well, if you're mafioso's daughter, that shit don't fly. You can't just give your daughter to anyone. It's kind of forbidden love story. But yeah, story-wise, I really enjoyed the story, and all the characters, and that I think they were most of them were, greatly written, and full of backstabbing and tragedy, and some little moments of happiness too, sprinkled in there. But the gameplay, the shooting, the fighting, the sneaking, it's like old man going around pretty much when you're supposed to be a young lad in this. The shooting it's not smooth, really, that smooth. It's good enough that you'll endure it if you really want to experience the story. And then all the boss fights, they usually end up with these knife fights, which is a cool idea, but it's just so stiff, and you kind of you try to stab the other one, and also, you try to dodge when the enemy makes certain types of attacks, or you try to counterattack. Gameplay is like 6 out of 10, 5.5 out of 10. Driving was surprisingly nice though. I actually enjoyed the driving and, well, the riding with the horses, that was alright too. I mean the driving, it's not like some modern driving game. It feels like you're driving those crappy old cars that were in early 19th century. They feel like boats, but they're kind of supposed to feel like that, so I like that. Gameplay overall, 5.5 out of 10. Story, 8.5 out of 10. Kind of want to go to 9, but I feel like it could have been maybe a bit more. Hammer home how cruel the Mafia is. I mean, it's still, like, they're not likable people in this towards the end. I don't want to spoil anything, but you know how crime stories always go, but I think they could have just one more nail in the coffin. Really hammer home that these are not people you want to mess with. Something was missing, but still I enjoyed it. Anyway, Mafia. And we're down to the last game, and this is by far the best game in this pile. I loved this. What an experience. Fucking fantastic from start to finish. You might have had little guesses what I might be showing here, because I did say this might actually beat Expedition 33 in my books. It's, man, this was just such an awesome experience. I loved this game. Death Stranding 2, and let me tell you first of all, one of my favorite villains, Higgs. He was so well made. I really enjoyed it. What a psychotic bastard, but really cool with the guitar that shoots flames. And yeah, it's Kojima, Hideo Kojima. He knows how to do stories, weird stories. He knows how to do characters, weird characters. He also knows how to do gameplay, which is also weirdly weird gameplay at times. Now Death Stranding 1, a lot of walking, if you know it. It's more an experience. It's like experience in solitude and loneliness, where you're just walking around this post-apocalyptic world where everything's just kind of gone almost, and yeah, there's little pockets of people here and there, and this one continues kind of on the same veins, except in this one you actually don't really have to walk that much if you don't want to. I actually acquired a little motorcycle at the start of this game pretty quickly, so I used that a lot, and also later on you get these bigger trucks that you can use to deliver even more cargo, because Death Stranding, you deliver cargo from one place to another. It helps if you really don't want to walk. I did some walking. There's always, the walking is, yeah, it does get kind of boring if you do it too much, but at the same time, sometimes I really enjoyed the walks. It's just, these games, they create such great environment of just being lonely out there, so it's almost therapeutic just walking from one place to another, especially if you're walking on some mountain or something. It's just, the view is fantastic, and yeah, you're just taking your time. It's really, I don't think this game is for people who have some kind of ADHD, which I actually might have. I had never been diagnosed, but I do have some kind of OCD or ADHD, I don't know, maybe both. I'm pretty certain, but this game, actually, it just got me to sit down and enjoy it. One thing though, first one, the soundtrack. I really loved the soundtrack in the first one. They used a lot of that one band, the Icelandic band, Low Roar was the band. I found that from the first game, and I absolutely loved that band. The songs are just a vibe. I don't want to use that word because that sounds too modern teenagerish. But yeah, that's a good way to describe the songs. They are kind of just vibe of solitude, loneliness. There's this certain sadness too, which I think enhances when you're walking from one place to another. It feels great because it's so kind of depressing at the time because you're all alone. But at the same time, when you're all alone, you got time to think, time for the thoughts, Yeah, I really dig the style. I really dig the theme and atmosphere of these games. And yeah, this time you're going to Mexico first, and from Mexico there's a portal which takes you to Australia. So in Australia, you're kind of trying to connect the whole continent of Australia. And this Australia is smaller in this than it is in real life. If it wasn't, I'd still be walking or driving, but still, it would take forever. But also the story and the characters, Kojima really knows how to make those. This is just, especially the last third of this game, or the last sort of main missions, those got crazy. Those got fucking weird. That was Jesus, that is pure Kojima at his best, in my opinion. It's just... Jesus Christ. I love this game. This was fantastic. It's just... I don't want to spoil anything from the story in this. It is just fucking great. Higgs, like I said, Higgs played by... it was one of those guys who does most of the voice in all the great games, or most games. Was it Troy Baker who did the voice for Higgs? I think it was Troy Baker. I always mix him and there was other guy. Well, I can't remember the other guy's name. It was Troy Baker in this one. He was the voice of Higgs, which... fantastic job. Like I said, I love that character, and a lot of great characters in this one. This one isn't more like an experience than game. It is game still though, but it feels way more. But yeah, of course, if you didn't dig the first one, you're probably not gonna dig this one either. The first one really divided opinions, and this one ain't any different. Even though they kind of made it more fluent, the driving, you know, they gave you, I feel like in this one you got more opportunities to drive, and it was easier to actually build those roads and that kind of stuff from what I remember from the first one. Because in the first one I didn't actually really, because you could restore roads, but I didn't really restore too much of those. In that one it was a bit more chore. In this one it still is, but it's a bit more comfortable chore. And yeah, the soundtrack, like I said, the first one had a lot of low roll. It basically 90% of the soundtrack on the first one was low roll, which was fantastic. In this one, they have a couple of low roll songs, but they also have other songs, and that was kind of a miss at times, because there's these few songs that are more like poppy and techno-ish, dance-ish type of tracks. I felt like it ruined the mood whenever that type of song started playing. Fuck those songs. I want depressing, slow, kind of ambient songs that are sad. I don't want any upbeat pop or techno in my Death Stranding games. Luckily you could, make your own playlist, so I took those off. Fuck those. They don't belong in this game, so I took them off. But unfortunately you have to listen to them at some point of the game. When you get close to a new place, there starts this song play. I'm not gonna go too much into this anymore. It's just, this one definitely with Expedition 33 for me fights for the number one spot when it comes to Game of the Year list. There is one who can dethrone both of these though. If they release it this year, they released the early access on PC, and that is Wreckfest 2. If they release Wreckfest 2 this year for consoles, physically, yeah, these are probably gonna, end up being on third and second place. But if they don't, these two, definitely so far, these are really fighting for the number one spot. I don't see too much games that would challenge these coming out this year. There are still some really interesting games that I'm actually gonna get. Anyway, this was this Gaming Pickups fuck off, and we'll meet back here when I upload some more crap. And yeah, you got any of those games? Do you like them? You got any new games? Why don't you write it down in the comments? YouTube actually kind of prefers when people comment, so yeah, do some commenting. Or don't. There's no need to. It's not like I'm there forcing you. If I was there, yeah, I'd probably have a gun to your head and I'd be forcing you, but I don't know where you live. So, fuck. I'm gonna go. Keep playing games. It's kind of fun hobby to have, playing games. I really enjoy playing games. Lately, I beat all those games. This is like probably the first gaming pickups ever in the history of my gaming pickups where I beat every single one of those games. Ooh, I'll have to double check. Beat. I've been on a roll lately. Jesus, I'm coming like one of those insufferable Souls gamers. If it ain't hard, it ain't good. Or something like that. Goodbye.